We spoke, or you spoke briefly earlier about audience engagement, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on it. Do you actively do it? Do you have a method to do it? Do you look for feedback? Do you want feedback? Have you been trolled?
Audience engagement. So I love the audience engagement because, first of all, I think is the right thing to do. Now, there's different thinking around this one. I know, if you look at a massive channel, let's say Peter McKinnon, right? Peter McKinnon makes videos about video making and on now like travel and everything. But
Yeah,
he started as a kind of photographer, videographer, and stuff. He's so big, he does not have time to respond to the 25,000 comments that he gets on his videos, which I can completely understand. I'm not at that size. I mean, like my top video maybe has 200 comments, and on average, maybe I get three comments. I always respond because my whole brand is about being as personable as possible.
yeah,
Still being a business professional, but I like the personal touch of things. That's why I like video. That's why I like sending videos, video messages, because it's a bit more personal. Um, my other side is I've had it. I'm thinking of a couple of people now. I won't name and shame them, but shame on these people who, on the outside, will say, engage with me, connect with me, leave me a note, and I'll reply, but then they never do. And I go, well, that's a bit of a shame because people do go to these places often because they know, like, and trust the person.
yeah.
And sure, it's about the content, I get that, but people do enjoy, they want to interact with people. I was on a program about kind of passive income, right? With a community of people, which was led by a well-known character in that world. And I signed up because of that character. It was not because it was the best community about building kind of passive income. It's because this person was very well known. I've been following this person for years.
Yeah.
I like what they stood for. Now, they were barely involved in the community, which maybe for legitimate or illegitimate reasons. But I thought it was such a bummer. I'm like, well, we're kind of here because of you. Yeah. Doesn't mean that you have to respond to all my messages or whatever it says. I'm not like claiming people's attention.
Yeah.
But if you are out there saying, like, hey, connect with me, guys, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below, then respond. Don't be a dick. Then just take some time to do this. And Gary Vee says that he did that for years. I don't think he can anymore at this scale. I get that, but when you still can, yes, engage. Now, like, who do you engage with? Do you get any trolls? I have. I get trolls. Everybody gets trolls. Trolls, by the way, for people out there. So people who just leave a comment. Okay, here's how I describe a troll. A troll is somebody who leaves a comment on your content that adds zero value to your life or to the world. It's
Yeah.
just a, oh, you suck. You look stupid. Like, okay, it doesn't bother me at all. So I've never been susceptible. Some people really struggle with trolls. I don't at all. I assume everybody on the internet is a 14-year-old insecure child. So
Yeah.
I start with that. So, and that's also how I respond. As I never respond angrily or something like me. I respond, but I do always respond. Um, I've had a couple of videos where people think, for instance, the introduction is too long. I've got one particular video, which is a very specific video, and I think it's a video where people hop on not because they follow me. It's a what we like to call a search heavy video. So people look for ways to make a flower bed.
Yeah.
And if you then start with, hey, my name is Chris, and before we get into how I make a flower bed, let me tell you about my new headphones I got here. People go, we don't need to know that, Chris. I'm just here because I need to see how you make a flower bed. And that audience is often a lot more unforgiving. They get on there and they'll talk about your introduction is too long, or we didn't like this, or we didn't like that. So I had this video, and everybody's like, "Oh God, waffles on for like 3 minutes." Finally, the video gets started, and I respond to all of them. And to some, if there's a lot of vitriol from their side, I respond with a level of sarcasm. There was one person who says like, "Oh my God, like a whole 2 minutes before you get to the main points," and I responded by saying something like, "Oh my God, are you okay? What if the no?" Imagine there was something on YouTube with which you can scroll forward in a video or something like that, you know. But most of the time, I just go like, "Sorry, it wasn't for you," and just use your attention for the 100 people who do like coming there. So I respond to all of them. I think you should deal with trolls. I don't think you should ignore them. I think you should just go like, "Sorry, it wasn't for you. Uh, better
I
luck next time," or something.
I learned a phrase in a recording last week that I'd never heard before called hate watching and hate listening. You heard of that?
No,
And it's like
enlighten me.
people and people watch stuff because they dislike the person presenting it and they want to find them, see them slip up or see them talk about something they shouldn't. And
I'm sure that happens a lot
I kind
nowadays.
of found it really weird.
Of course, it's weird, and how sad is that?
Yeah,
And I mean, look, we do live in a time where, without getting into, without getting into any kind of ideologies nowadays, because it is a bit weird where people, if they don't like somebody, they like somebody like everything about them. There's no nuance anymore. You have to agree with everything they say.
yeah.
And if you don't like somebody, you do the opposite. So I think that's where the hate watching comes from. I would just most of the time just ignore. I usually just when people do that, I go sorry, it wasn't for you. But I just look at it like how sad do you have to be to watch somebody's content, watch a 5 minute video, then take 5 minutes to go, yeah, you suck, you stupid, you don't
When
know
you
anything about this,
when
and
those
and then and then post that. Like, how sad do you have to be to do that?
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? When those people said that about your intro, was there any part of you thought they were right?
Yes, no, totally. So I'll take it, but there's a way to deliver it. I mean, if somebody has a car parked and you can't whatever, somebody's parked in a clumsy way,
Yeah.
there's different ways of approaching that person. If somebody comes up to me right away, starts shouting in my face, I'm probably not going to have the same response as somebody going, "Hello, mate. Sorry, maybe you haven't noticed, but I'm trying to get out. Can you just move your car a bit?" It's the same online.
Yeah.
So if somebody's going, "Hey, the introduction was very long. We didn't need that." I can then take that in and say, "Yeah, actually, that was a bit too long. I need to get to the point faster," because there's a lot of validity in there. I think the way people bring it is often a bit clumsy, but I absolutely go through the comments. I look at what people are saying, and I hope I've improved. And I think not even I think I've improved. I can see how I've improved. Let's say with speed because of retention graph. So I can see when people click away.
Yeah.
There's a graph that comes out, and the graph before had a steeper decline, a bit of a slope going down, which means in the first 10 seconds people click away. That could be for a bunch of reasons. That could be it wasn't what they expected, so they clicked on the video thinking it was A, it turned out to be B. Maybe they didn't like my voice, my face. Maybe after 5 seconds they decided it's not interesting. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but you can see this with my later videos. You don't have that steep decline that much. It's more flat. So I'm keeping people engaged much longer, much better. And with that, a lot of these comments kind of disappear. And also, look, with these kind of comments over time, maybe they're not your audience. Like, why
Yeah.
would you worry about people who are not your audience anyway? It's like, oh, I don't like your product offering, or maybe you're not my client. Maybe you're not my customer. Who cares?